Hi all and welcome back to a new video where we start off our Christmas previews, starting off with the racing over in England. So pretty much what I'm going to do is do a day by day, a bit like I would do for Cheltenham's say for the Leopardstown Christmas meeting, going through every race on the card, but they'll be out when the full declarations are out. So maybe the first I'd say Stephen's Day's card might be out Christmas Eve night, and then 27th might be out Christmas night, and so on and so forth. But there's obviously a lot of good races over in England. Kempton, Chepstow in Wales, obviously for the Welsh National. And there's just a lot of things to preview. So what I'm going to do in this video is go through those big races. So it's 4 or 5 races I'll be covering in this, going over my views for Kempton and for Chepstow. Starting off with the big one in Kempton, the King George, which looks such a hot race. 7 runners have been confirmed, and it is a class 7 runner card because you've got Aso and Labagawa, who really are kind of bit part players in a race like this, and they're very good horses. Thistlecrack and Footpad, very good horses. They look like they will be fighting out for places at best. And you've got 3 brilliant horses at the top of the market, being Surname, Lost in Translation and Clan des Obeaux, and they are in that order in terms of the market. Going through all of them, I'm a bit of a stickler for people that have done it before. And I just think with Surname, he obviously ran huge. He beat Altior. I've previously said about Altior, I doubt that was his best, but also Altior looked very, very rusty, lackluster that day. I just didn't think he looked brilliant. That being said, I don't buy into this line of thought that Surname won't come on for that run. I'm sure he was ready. I'm sure he was ready to run a big race. But natural improvement for a Paul Nicholls horse would indicate that there's still something left in the tank to go to war with this time round. I have my doubts about Surname over the trip. I'll lay that on to you. I think he's a 2.5 mile horse. I think Ascot's his track. I know Kempton is a similar enough track, but certain horses just really, really enjoy a track. And Surname, he's done well at Kempton before. I wouldn't knock him. I don't think the track's going to be an issue for him. But 3 miles, the King George is deceptively a staying test, because they'll go at such a mad clip that Surname himself will probably set. But he'll be taken on. Labagawa will be very handy. Thistlecrack usually is handy enough as well. This will be a blistering gallop, and you're going to have to stay every inch of 3 miles here. It can sometimes turn into a bit of a scrap late doors. We obviously had a horse like Vator get chinned in it when he didn't quite see it out at the back of the last. And I just have my concerns about Surname. I certainly have my concerns to go in at a price like 6-4 on a horse like that. He's a brilliant horse. I wouldn't knock him much. But I just can't. I do have issues with him and the trip, and that's why I couldn't be putting him up. Lost in Translation, again, same records apply here. I think he's a fabulous horse. I think of the 3 at the top of the market, he's obviously the best chance of winning the Gold Cup out of those 3. But I don't think this is going to be his cup of tea at all, to be honest. I think Kempton, 3 miles, right-hand track, blistering gallop. I just don't see it being his cup of tea. And I do have worries about him at the track. At Sandown last year, he did shift out a bit to his left in the Scilly Isles Novices Chase. If you start doing that in a King George, you're cooked. You're absolutely cooked if you start doing anything wrong. Any shifting out to the left, any running off the rail sort of thing. I'd say he'll be sat off the pace and hope to swoop late, a bit like he did against Bristol de Mai. But he's going to have to be very, very quick to get there. He obviously had some decent enough novice form last year over shorter distances, but it seems like the staying trips are really his cup of tea, and therefore I'd be just a bit concerned that the track won't play to his strengths, and it wouldn't surprise me if he gets beat. Again, there's too many kind of little just things edging at me, which is strange because I'd say very few people think that neither those 2 are going to win. And there's a part of me that thinks I could be really wrong here and one of them will absolutely hack up. But I just have my doubts and I can't put one of them up because of those doubts. As for Clan des Obeaux, I think he's just perfectly ready-made for Kempton. If you were to pick a King George Kempton horse and make him, Clan des Obeaux would be the horse you'd make. A strong traveller, he jumps well, he's won the race last year. His reappearance at Down Royal, he clearly wasn't wound up for that race, and yet he still ran a cracker behind Road to Respect. And Road to Respect is a proper Grade 1 horse at the start of the season. He usually doesn't transfer to the back end of the season, but at the start, he really is a good Grade 1 operator. And I think there was a lot of merit to that performance. I know Harry Copson's picked Surname. He has to pick Surname, though. He's the highest rated chaser in training. He just beat Altior. You know, I don't mind that. Sam Twiston Davis has been booked. That is no back number whatsoever. Sam Twiston Davis riding at the peak of his powers at the moment, actually. He's almost been energised from the move away from the Nichols stable job. And I just think Clan des Obeaux has an awful lot going for him here. I think, again, he'll sit off the pace and will travel so strongly. That's the thing I love about Clan des Obeaux. And I just think 3 miles, Kempton, that's him. That's exactly what he wants. The other horses, I'd be worried about the trip for Surname, about the track for Lost in Translation, and I just don't think the other 4 are quite up to the same standard as the front 3. So Clan des Obeaux at around 4-1, 9-2 will be my selection for the King George. The Feltham Novices Chase now, I think, called the Kauto Star Novices Chase. I haven't looked into this race too much. There's obviously a few good Nichols horses. I think he'll only run one, either Master Tommy Tucker or Danny Whizbang. Probably Master Tommy Tucker. But I think the one to beat in this race is Black Op. I'm not a massive fan of Champ myself. I don't think he jumps very well. And I personally believe if Black Op winged the last at Newbury last time out, he would have beaten Champ. And what price would he be if he'd beaten Champ last time out? I think he'll probably be... The prices aren't up yet at this stage for that race. They haven't been priced up. But I'd say he'll be obviously near the top of the market if he does run his race. He looks to be in better form this year. He's jumping a lot more soundly. A demolition job at Stratford to win by 15 lengths to Mr. Antolini, who's not a bad kind of handicapper in his own right. Lisnagar Oscar was well beaten as well. So Black Op performed brilliantly that day and ran really well at Newbury and then just bungled the last right at an inopportune time. I think if he irons out those sort of mistakes, which obviously plagued him last year as well, I think he's got a bang chance here in the Kauto Star Novices Chase. The Christmas Hurdle, it's an up-in-the-air race. There's an awful lot of horses coming here that you don't really know about. I obviously banged on the whole of last week's Cheltenham episode about Quick Grab 'em, and I see he's entered in here. Paddy Brennan jocked up, and he's 16-1. I think 16-1's a mad price each way. If 8 turn up to this race, I'll be ploughing in at 16s. I don't think Henderson won't run all of these horses against themselves. Fusel Raffles, Verdana Blue and Epatante are the top 3 in the betting. They won't all run. I can't see them all running. And I do think Quick Grab 'em will be held up, and I think he could be produced to run a big race and certainly could well fit into the frame at 16s. Moving on to the 27th then, the Coral Welsh National at Chepstow, a real staying test, a real gruelling race. Elegant Escape is a short price favourite, and he's worthy of being a short price favourite, last year's winner. I think his running the Hennessy, or the Ladbrokes Trophy last time out, was exceptional. He's got top form in the book. He's a graded horse at the top of a handicap. There's no doubting he's a graded horse as well. He's run enough very good races in good races to indicate that. However, I am going to take him on, and I'm going to take him on with a horse, again near the top of the betting, in Now McGinty, who won last year at Chepstow in a really good novices chase, I thought, where he beat Durasher Counter, who was obviously the Ladbrokes Trophy winner by 6 lengths, and Captain Catterstock, who, to be honest, if Captain Catterstock had been entered for this race, I would have been sweet on him, but he's been a non-runner, subsequently called a non-runner. He beat him by 12 lengths that day. Obviously, his reappearance run behind Santini was good. I really don't like Santini. I think he's as slow as a boat. But it was a good run from him. Seems to be primed for a race of this nature. He stays, he jumps. I think he could take a lot of stopping here. He's around 6-1, 13-2. It's not a great price for a handicap of that nature. But you're going to get 5 or 6 places, a fifth of the odds. It's still over that kind of 5-1 threshold to make it kind of a somewhat okay each way bet. And I think this horse has a genuine chance of winning the race. So therefore it becomes a bit of a stonking each way bet, just like that. The two races at Kempton on the 27th will be the last two I'm covering in this episode, and they won't take too long, to be honest. The Wayward Lad Novices Chase, I haven't looked into that much. I've only seen just the initial entries. If she runs, I think Moira Banri could have a big chance here. This sort of track will suit her, where she can go along in front, she can ping fences. She's a really good horse with some good chase form, looks a really electric jumper as well, which is the main thing, and could get a lot of these out of their comfort zone. And the other, the Desert Orchid Chase, we have Bottler Henderson, who's entered Altior in this race, despite deeming him not fit enough to run in the King George. I think Altior I would be staying clear of at the moment. I think in a race like this, look, he probably will win if he turns up, because he's beaten all these horses before. He'll be 3s, 4s on, and he'll beat horses by 5-6 lengths, and everyone will go mad and shorten him for the champion chase. When at the same day, Chacun Poursois is going to blow horses away in Leopardstown, and he will be the champion chase winner. So I'm not a big fan of Altior. I'd be staying away from the race. I certainly wouldn't be going in on him after last time out. I don't know who's going to actually run against him. Looks So Royal looks like his biggest opposition, and So Royal's the type of horse that could well come second to him. I haven't looked into that race that much, to be honest, because if I'm being honest, Altior is probably your most likely winner, and I wouldn't be going in on him whatsoever. I wouldn't be going into him in a Cheltenham anti-post variety in any way. I just think he looked lacklustre last year. I think he looked lacklustre again behind Surname at the start of this year. And I don't know whether there's something a bit wrong with him. I'm not convinced. But anyway, we'll have to see. And it's a race I wouldn't be relying your Christmas upon that. But anyway, the big things I suppose to take out of this video: Clanday's Oboe for me in the King George, now McGinty for the Welsh National, Black Op for the Feltham, and Quick Grab 'em at a big price for the Christmas Hurdle. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel down below. Obviously, a lot of Christmas content being played at you right now, so hopefully you guys get involved. Let me know what you think, and I really hope you guys have a brilliant Christmas, have a good New Year, and hopefully we can back a few winners over the next few days.